between plants, they mean it. It's because each of those is going to go at least 3 feet
in each
either
direction.
And so if you put them 2 feet apart, guess what? After about 5 years or so,
Intertwined.
somebody's going to get choked out.
Right.
And you might be cutting out every other one. If you're looking for more of an instant hedge, go with larger plant material. Again, it's still going to be spaced 6 feet apart, but it will be closer to what you're looking for in privacy to begin with. You just spend a little more money.
I think that's exactly what happened. When Susan moved here, she bought the house that we live in.
Right.
And when you go along the house, there was hedgerows all along the edge of the house.
Right.
And I noticed, and we pulled them out, every other hedgerow was kind of just dead and choked out because the other hedge had wrapped around it.
Right, had gotten so large. Your ones on your ends usually are your healthiest because, and then it starts going into the middle as you begin to get decline. And that's what happened.
And we've removed, and now you come to the house and hedge, blank spot, hedge, blank spot, because you had to pull the dead ones. And when I say pull them out,
just by the root,
it was very easy to do.
Because
that's how dead they were.
And some of them may not have been planted properly.
That's a possibility as well.
When you a lot of times, especially in new construction, they go through and they auger and drop plants in, and that's pretty much that's self-descripting. So they run the auger. The one guy goes down the row and he makes 6 holes. The other guy grabs the 6 plants, pulls the pot off, throws them in the ground. Third guy comes, kicks the dirt back in, stomps on them, and throws the mulch on top.
Right. And then they water.
And then
they
turn the irrigation system on and they walk away. And so those roots were never worked out or anything like that, like you would do if you were planting them yourself or doing it on a slower, smaller scale kind of thing. But still, when you're looking, you're doing your beds and going, well, I'm going to buy, 25 of these, and I'm going to, annuals, and I'm going to put them in a 2x2 area. That's going to be too many in that spot. It's just going to, you're going to choke somebody out. It'll look full immediately, but as you start pulling them out because they start, not doing real well, or they just get too jammed up, and it's like you could have taken those 25 and gone further.
I think that, and I call that, because
instant gratification.
No, I called that. I had it. My ex-wife wanted to do. She wanted to create a flower area in front of our new home, in front of the new home we had built out of the lake. She wanted to build it where it had the Disney look.
Oh.
And I said, but you don't understand the Disney look. She's like, no, they have annuals and it's great. I go, and what you don't understand, if you lifted the leaves up and look, most of them are still in pots because they can remove them overnight and everything.
Yes. So
they stack them in there because they're not planted.
Right.
They're just there for display, and then they can change those displays.
Right. If one begins to decline, they can pull it out. I mean, they have a whole. It's a whole nother industry.
Right.
Once the fireworks stop and the gates are closed, that comes through and works until those gates open at 9:00 the next morning.
That's what people don't. And so she planted beds like that, and it was beautiful.
Yes.
For about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then plants started dying.
Right. And unless you've got somebody
because they were competing for nutrients.
Right. And it's just not quite enough. Yeah. Either they're a little too close together, there wasn't enough, or just not enough care. Sometimes the weeds start to come in and take over.
Right.
And like you say with Disney, I'll say they got crews that come through and do those grounds every night. If there's a hanging basket that doesn't look quite as symmetrical as the others, that one comes down and a new one replaces it.
You know a place here in town that does something along those lines? They changed the flowers out that you see as the seasons change at the Roberts property.
Oh, I'm
World Equestrian Center, they'll do it. They do it
at
Golden Ocala.
They do it at a lot of different entrances to places. Do that. Of course, everybody knows I work there at the north end of the Villages.
They change flowers
all the time. I mean, we have landscapers that come through and they sit there and they buy trays because they've got 30 planters to do, and they ran out because you figure they source their stuff from wholesalers, but here they need another 100 of something to come in and do a quick change because something happened to that planter, or something like that. And they have to change those out promptly. I've even talked with customers, and I wish I had their disposable income. I'm up for adoption. I'm an orphan now, but that they actually have a landscaper that 3 times a year they change out their annual beds.
I could be adopted. We could go as a brother-sister team. You
There
could
you
adopt
go.
both of us.
Yep, there we go.
You come
Close enough in age we could pretend we're twins.
There you go. And you could get somebody that knows about planting.
Yeah.
Plus, you can get somebody that's opinionated.
And as a golf partner.
You could get somebody that knows about plants, somebody that's opinionated, and I'd come along too.
There you go. And you like golf. You got a golf buddy.
There you go. There you go. I know how to drive a golf cart really well.
Yeah, there you go.
And we'll come as a match pair for the small sum of an allowance of $10,000 a month.
There you go.
Carol Ann Baldwin gets $6,000. I get $4,000. I ain't
go.
greedy.
There we go.
I ain't greedy.
That's it. We just go on through on life like that.
You know, that just reminds me of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Excuse me. Yes. May I go to the bathroom? Certainly. That play's going to be at the Ocala Civic Theater, by the way, next season. Can't wait.
Nice.
622-9622 is the number to call if you want to talk to Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. You know, I noticed the grass isn't trimmed as much as it could be here.
Yeah.
But it's because so when you walk out there, it's wet.
Yeah, it is.
It's when you walk out there, it's slushy to the touch.
The ground's a little bit saturated.
When the ground is saturated like that, is it best not to cut the grass? I mean, I know it clumps because it's wet. But
right. The heavy rider mowers can leave ruts.
Right.
So it's if you can keep it mowed, just because the longer it gets, when you do cut it off, you're cutting off so much that you may actually be exposing the rhizomes on a St. Augustine grass to sudden sunlight, and we don't want to do that either. But we try not to have it drowned. This looks like it's possibly Bahia out there. I'm not sure if that's.
I don't think those are Bahia strands.
Is that not seed heads coming
Some
up?
of them maybe.
That might just be weeds coming up, but if it's green, you mow it. These are narrow enough strips, but you figure this is a big property. They're still going to run riders through here.
And it's real. When you step out there, it's
wet, yeah. So it needs to, that's it. What it does is it compacts that soil. It leaves ruts in the ground, and then to try to fix the ruts, we're adding sand, and then you're burying your rhizomes, and so you have to have a recovery.
But does it hurt? Say if I had a little push mower, I had a light
push mower. Yeah, just go through there.
Does it hurt to mow wet grass?
No. So long as your mower blade is sharp, and you just go through.
And rake up the clumps so
clumps,
it doesn't...
keep the clumps. You may need to stop and scrape out underneath your mower so that it's actually pulling up and mowing. That's your biggest drawback, is trying to get as late in the morning, and of course that's when it starts getting hot, is to try to get out there real early, get it mowed before the rain comes in the afternoon, and early enough or late enough that it has had a chance to dry some from whatever showers happened at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
And the heavy dew sometimes.
With the high humidity, it's hard. It is tough this time of year, but mowing frequently is the best way to do. So if you have a yard that you usually, if you run a push mower, and if you have to get out there and mow for a short while every couple of days, do so. Just to keep caught up on it, and. We'll get rid of the rainy season come about September.
We will get rid of the rainy season. Good morning. You're on with Carol Ann Baldwin, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin.
Good morning, Carol Ann.
Morning, Sonny.
Tom, this is Sonny calling. What I do is I go around and do all the trimming and edging and stuff like that first before I do the mowing.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that it's wet out there.
Yeah.
So it gets a little better chance of drying out when I start the mower up.
Right, yeah. Then if you get out there 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, usually, if you get out earlier, get your edging done, get the weed whacking done around the trees, and then when you're finished up with that, the grass, the leaf blade will be much drier.
That's how I attack it anyway.
It's a good way.
Anyway, that was my suggestion, and have a great day. Thank you for your programming. Thank you, WOCA.
Thank you, Sonny. Bye-bye.
You know, and Sonny makes a good point.
Yeah.
You get it out. You get the hard stuff out of the way first.
Right.
And then the mowing's gravy.
Is right. It's simple, and you've had a chance for that for some of the moisture to evaporate or the sun to shine down on it.
When the grass gets as high, though, should we, so that we don't damage the lower parts of the grass, should we put our mower up as high as we can?
I'd probably raise the mower blades up if you can't mow, and then gradually take it back down.
And if I mow it on Monday, is it okay to go back out on Thursday and mow it again?
Oh yeah. Yeah, this
So
time of
it'll
year,
repair itself that quick.
this time of year, you're almost needing to mow 2 to 3 times a week, depending on when's the last time you fertilized. You know, what is your maintenance level? Are you low, medium, or high? If you're high maintenance, that means that you're fertilizing little fertilizer very often. It's of course, this time of year, stop the fertilizer.
That's
please.
St. Augustine of ours.
It's,
It gets cut on Monday.
Yeah, it needs to be
My
cut.
dachshund loves it on Monday
but
and
come
Tuesday. Wednesday, he's not a fan in the backyard.
Rubbing his belly.
And Thursday, Friday,
He doesn't want to go
he
outside.
really
at
doesn't
all.
want to go out. And then the weekends, you can forget about it.
Yeah. So it needs to be mowed again. That's this time of year we need to have to step up that mowing.
Are you telling me I should get the riding lawnmower with the bag catcher out of the shed and cut it myself?
Put a little gas in there, check the oil.
But I pay a guy to do that. Why should I have to do it?
Well, you want to pay him to come back a second time?
Well, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I mean, maybe I get Matt Gibbs to come over and cut my grass once a week.
Just get a big truck with a mower blade underneath
That's
there.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Talk about ruts in the yard. Now, hold on.
Get the
Hold
one
on.
you drag behind the truck.
But, that is a concern. People
It is.
cutting your grass too low because people say, well, it's growing
Well,
so
I'm
fast
just
now,
gonna,
I'm just going to
cut it down to an inch and a half. No, you'll scalp your lawn.
It'll burn up.
It'll burn up. It's not good for it. It's actually very hard on it. But if say you couldn't get out because it just was too much rain, too wet, and it's gotten really high, mow it high, come back, and you could mow it same day. Bring it down a little more. That way you're just taking off a little bit of it and then come back a couple days later and bring it back down to where it ought to be.
Grass is a lot like your dog's toenails.
Yeah, they need
You
to be
can
trimmed.
clip them. They need to be trimmed. But if you clip them too far, the dog will bite you.
Yeah.
Well, if you mow your grass too low, it'll burn up and turn brown, and then you got an ugly yard.
And then you've got to spend the expense to fix it. But right now we're not. No need to throw any fertilizer down. No need to have a sprinkler system even on. Turn it off, completely off. If you find that we have no rain for 2 weeks, put it on manual. Turn it on for a day.
Are you
and wait
hearing
for it
that,
to rain.
commercial business owners?
Yep, you too. Yeah, and I understand. Yeah, when everybody goes by the golf courses, they see sprinklers. They're draining water retention areas and putting it back on the earth to bring it back down into the aquifer to filter.
And by the
through.
way, when a green gets cut, it gets cut to like
Yeah.
a quarter of a centimeter and everything.
Right.
There's not much grass there,
To begin
so they
with,
got to
so-
cool that grass off
Yep.
before it burns up.
Yep.
Because by the way, they cut it too close,
On purpose.
but that on purpose. But you got to keep it from burning up.
That's the
Call
maintenance
back.
for a sports fan.
We had a caller, but he didn't want to wait on us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd answered the phone. We were going right to him. Call back, caller 622-9622.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
it's live radio. Sometimes you got to wait.
Maybe they were going to ask about putting fertilizer down, and I've stopped a few people. There's a few things you can do if you find your grass is looking a little puny. Maybe your last fertilization was kind of early in May, and now we're here at the end of June. It's been 2 months. Something with an iron source. There's several different products out there. I usually hate to name names, but they all have iron in their name.
Right.
One of them made Milwaukee famous,
Right.
and it wasn't beer.
Okay.
It was the other one, and
Okay.
now there's a Florida brand of that is about $3 cheaper a bag because
And
it
they
only
all
comes
have-
from West Palm Beach.
And it all has iron in the name.
And they have iron within their name, and that's what your lawn's needing. It's not needing the NPK. It's not needing those three. Well, we took the P out of it anyway, so yeah.
622-9622 is the number to call. Call back, caller, if you want to talk with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. We'll get you right in. It is time, though, to start thinking about how to prepare for the fall.
For a fall garden. We're tomorrow. Day after tomorrow is the 1st of July.
Right.
And so we usually start thinking about planting a fall garden end of August, 1st of September. So we're still 2 months out from working on that. So it's like, and that's something else I got to do this week while I'm off is clean out my tomato plants. I went out there today, and like yesterday they looked good. Today they're looking a little on the peaked side, and finishing those cherry tomatoes up. And it's like, okay, I'm going to clean all this stuff out. I'm going to get everything weeded. I'm going to get ready for next season, for that fall season. Nothing's going to grow in there. I'll just keep it weeded throughout the year just to try to keep. I'll add some soil amendment to it. Some, find your favorite manure brand, or you make your own compost.
You get it prepared.
Yeah, get it prepared, get it ready to go. If you had a nematode issue, solarization, and yes, solarization will work even in the rainy season.
100%.
Yeah, the ultraviolet rays will penetrate that clear plastic. Don't go with black. The clear visqueen, as thick as you can get, leave it on 6 weeks, which right now, being as tomatoes are done, a lot of that other...
Cucumbers are really done. We just put them laid in.
Your squash is done. Yeah. And get ready for next season.
Good morning. You're on with Master Gardener Caroline Baldwin.
Good morning, everybody. It's sunny again.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of these new lawnmowers they got out there. They got a battery-operated lawnmower that
there's some sweet ones.
is like the Roomba.
Yeah.
It's automatic.
Yeah,
it
they
just
do.
goes out
They
and
do.
rides around.
Yep.
And comes back to the
I don't know if
station.
I'd want one of those here. I don't know if those would be real effective with how often they would clog up just because of the wet grass. I like the new battery-powered ones, the Egos and stuff like that. Those are sharp. Those are pretty sharp.
Well, they're quieter.
Yeah,
they are
they
quieter.
are. They are. Yeah, you can get out on Sunday morning and not annoy your neighbors.
Thanks for the call, Sonny. Thanks, buddy.
All righty.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah, I have seen that. And it's
Well, now they got the 40-amp lithium
Oh,
batteries.
yeah.
It'll cut
Yeah,
just like
and
a gas mower.
Yeah, I saw some training on some of those, and they run dual batteries on those suckers, and they have a rider, and they're sharp.
I was at the one that's out on 27. I never remember. Rural King.
Oh, yeah.
I was out there, and I was walking by, and I went, and I stopped. And Susan goes, "What are you doing?" Because we're looking for electric fences. I go, "I'm just mesmerized." She goes, "What are you looking at?" I go, "The male equivalent of the Roomba." And so I'm looking at this, and they had a 36-inch cut.
Right.
You could program it for your yard dimensions and everything. This one actually runs on gas.
Okay.
It's a gas-powered one with a computer and everything. $3,700.
Yeah. Just to not go out.
I was like, okay, so I pay a guy right now what I pay him, and so if I do that by 12, that's it. So I could get 4 years of him cutting my grass before I got the price of this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, those we had them, and they were cool. It was neat, but we grow St. Augustine,
It's
and
too thick.
it's too thick, too heavy a grass, and with our rain, it's got to run a couple times a week.
And it's going to clog.
It's going to clog. The grass is just I just don't see it working for us.
Yeah, the Roomba, by the way, same problems in a house if you have a sick dog. I'll just leave it at
Oh,
that. Just
yes,
leave it at
yes.
that. Leave it at that. Good morning. You're home with Master Gardener Caroline Baldwin.
Good morning, Tom. This is Bob. How are you?
Good, Bob. Hey, buddy. How are you?
Morning.
You're on with Caroline
Great.
Baldwin.
Can I change? Pardon me?
You're on with Caroline Baldwin, the Master Gardener.
Yes. Can I change gears and ask about citrus trees and fertilizer?
Sure. What you need on that?
I've got a Myers lemon tree and a regular orange tree. Should we continue fertilizing these this deep into summer if they've already got fruit growing on them?
Usually we do them March, like mid-March, early June, and then again in September. Because your fertilizer should last that long, that few months period. So it's usually March, June, and September, depending on the size of the tree. Because September you'll still have fruit, but you'll be finishing ripening that, and it's quite stressful on the tree. But yeah, kick it back up, hit them again early September.
Yeah, I did it in March, but I didn't know if I should do it again now.
You missed June. I would go ahead and do them now. Yeah, I would have done it early June. But yeah, go ahead and give them a good citrus fertilizer, and then again in September.
Great, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Bob, that'll be a trivia question, just so you know.
Well, take care. Thanks for the show,
Yeah.
Tom.
Thanks for the call.
Yeah.
It's my butt. That's actually the father-in-law of professional golfer Ted Potter Jr.
Oh.
that we just had on the phone lines there. So
Check out that chopper line.
they're coming to get Matt.
I thought it might have been from your earlier.
Well, that may be too. You don't know. I may have aggravated some people in the city.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, it's true.
But do you see a
No.
concern? Okay, just checking. Just checking.
I mean, you kind of forgot what I was talking about.
Checking.
But no, yeah, all your fertilization should have been done earlier in this month. So let
But
them
you can
be.
still get away with doing
You
it
can,
right now.
yeah, on stuff like your citrus trees and things like that. Get it down now, though, just because you'll want to kick up again in September.
My citrus trees are starting to flower. They're starting to show
Oh,
little
yeah,
you
yeah,
see
the
little
lemons and
nubs
stuff,
and everything.
yeah, yeah.
And now you
'Cause they're
said
ever bloomers.
you said
usually.
last year, even though they tried to
Yeah.
grow fruit, we snapped
Right.
it all off and everything.
Yeah.
I can let them fruit this year.
I would let them hold some.
Right.
Yeah, and it
'Cause
probably
they'll be a year
won't
and a half
hold-
in the ground.
Yeah,
by this time.
they probably will not hold a whole lot, but go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead and let them keep some.
Yeah, because it'll be about a year and a half
Right.
by the time they're ready to
Right.
harvest
Yeah.
this year. I'm looking forward to Myers lemons and ruby reds.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, I can picture drinks and grilling and
I love me some ruby reds. To be honest with you. You take a ruby red, you just
that's right
drill a
off the
hole
tree.
in it, drill a hole in it.
bunch of it.
a little bite of Carol Ann, thanks so much for being here. Tell people how to find you.
Find me on the Facebook In the Garden group page or
Not next week.
Not next week. After 2 days. This week for a week.
Coming up next, back in Sunrise Auto Repair and Personal Care right here on the floor.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM.